It's the early 1960s, and musicians were drawn to the quaint little town of Muscle Shoals. They would travel near and far in hopes of making that one-hit record. With the creation of Fame Studios and the Muscle Shoals Sound Studios, the most legendary musicians came to the Shoals in the worlds of soul, pop, country, and rock. The latest addition to that esteemed list is the Shoals' very own John Paul White. John Paul didn't always know how to play an instrument and dabbled with the skill of air bass for a minute. And while preparing for a school talent contest, John Paul stepped up to a mic and sang Stand By Me a cappella. Thus began his tumultuous relationship with the mistress they call music, and began his path to fame in a more roundabout way. At the age of 16, John Paul was already playing in bar bands, and that's where he first connected with a brand of soul and mostly southern rock that was in his geographical DNA. Night after night, John Paul toiled in cover bands, playing southern rock requests until he scored an audition with an EMI publisher who got on board with White's original songs. He signed his first publishing deal in 1999. By the summer of 2005, John Paul was meeting with A&R people from major labels. On a trip to LA, he played one song for the president of Capitol Records, who committed on the spot to signing him. After he signed his deal with Capitol, he went to Fame and Abbey Road in England to record his debut album. He lost the deal, but not his spirit, and released his long-awaited album, The Long Goodbye, in 2008 independently.
In this record, until this record comes out, everything's been potential, and everything's been, man, you're going to make a great record, and we can't wait to hear your first record. And now, all right, here it is, and I hope you love it. And if you do, you do, and if you don't, you don't. But we're over that hurdle now, so there'll never be another first record.
John also enjoyed a major hit this year with Jason Aldean's Relentless, which he co-wrote with fellow Muscle Shoals songwriter James LeBlanc. He's even written a song for the country superstars Rascal Flatts, and his cover of the ELO song, Can't Get It Out of My Head, was featured on the television show The O.C. John Paul's resume isn't too shabby either. He's worked with the likes of James LeBlanc, Gary Nichols, Gregory Becker, Walt Aldridge, and Connie Harrington, just to name a few. As much as John Paul White has achieved, there's still much more to come. His star is shining bright, and we are proud to name John Paul White the 2008 recipient of the Chris Quillen Rising Star Award.